Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am starting the next Omnibus 3-in-1 edition of Fullmetal Alchemist, and this is volume 5, which means that we will be halfway when reading this because it's only, what, 27 volumes? That's not a lot. So, I'm excited, and we are starting on chapter 50, which is in the belly of the beast. So let's get started and I will update you very soon. What a wild finding chapter. We start off with being in the middle of a fight with Lynn and Al and what was it again? Gluttony and the other one. I don't remember the name of the other one. Then the fight, like Lynn is fighting Gluttony while Ed and Al is fighting the other one, and then Gluttony accidentally eats Lynn and Ed. And then I was like, shit. And then in the end of the chapter, we do see Ed waking up in the belly. And he's like, where am I? And I'm like, yes, where are you? I don't know. At the same time, we do have the one who was like working underneath Lynn, waking up in like the doctor's house, and then he's like, oh my god, my arm is gone, and they're shocked about that. Like, obviously they knew that the arm was gone earlier, but like now they're like really like sinking in, you know. Then we have Roy speaking to some of like one of the colonels in like the headquarters. He has been calling for a meeting. He did tell right before that to Haka that if everything goes south, save yourself, and she was like, no. And then he says as a joke to one of the people there, one of the like the soldiers thingies, he says like the president is a homunculus, and they're like, ah, what a joke. And then they go into the room and then the president is actually there and he's like, yeah, you do keep telling this joke. If I am, doesn't matter. And then the scene ends very dramatically. So rip Roy. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but rip. We have now chapter 51, a portal in the darkness. So this is a big belly apparently. Okay, so first we see the little girl again. She's from another clan. She's not like the same clan as Lynn, I assume, May. And she's sad because she lost the panda that we know that Al has. And now she's crying, and now Scar's gonna help her look for it. And she also saying that she's looking for immortality to give to the Emperor. Then we have Al and Lynn inside the tummy, and they're walking around. They can't find an accent. Even Ed carries Lynn a bit because Lynn got so exhausted because he didn't have any food. And then suddenly Envy shows up, who was also eaten, and explained that there is no way out. They are like in a realm between nothingness that is similar to like where Ed went when he lost his arm and leg. And then they start fighting because Envy admits that he was the one who shot the child that started the whole Sablan civil war. So that's not good. And then Ed gets really mad, and then they start fighting, and then Envy turns into his true form, which is like a big kind of chimera-like beast, and then they're gonna start fighting. Then Al is sitting outside with Gluttony. Gluttony is sad because he ate everyone and he was not supposed to eat, well, Envy and Ed, only Lynn. And then Al is like, he's talking about he has a father, and then Al is like, take me to your father. And then they're gonna go there. We didn't see Roy at all in this chapter, so wondering what's happening with him. We go into chapter 52, Lord of the Demon's Lair. For this chapter, we did see Roy again. He is talking with for her king dude, and like he's like hinting like, you have a son too, he's your weak point, and he's like, you think I have a weak point? So it's not going down well. All of his team is being ordered to different places and being transferred, and it's not going well. That's not good at all. And it seems like Hawkeye is being like the next like aid right by the further side, so that's also not good. We don't like to see that. Then we have May and Scar going around looking for the panda, and they are nearby to, I think, the entrance where father is, because she can sense some evil, and there's a lot of chimera guarding it, but she doesn't want to go down further because that is also, you know, where Al is. And we see them walking over, but like they haven't arrived yet. And then we have Lynn and Ad still fighting the Envy, and I do think they defeated it. I think Ad got eaten and dragged out the Philosopher's Stone inside the mouth, and now they are looking at like this trace of something, and he says he's beginning to understand what the bosses did at I don't even know how to spell it, and sees like a wall with symbols, etc. So I guess we're gonna find out, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's gonna happen to Roy either. I'm worried about him. So I don't know. But now we are on chapter 53, Signpost of the Soul. This chapter was a wild ride. So first we have Al arriving with Gluttony in the dungeon thing, and he's like, Dad? But like, we saw his dad earlier, right? And he looked completely different and acted completely differently. Is he the one in like the machine thing controlling all these people? I am so confused because we saw his dad earlier. Is that not him? Is that just like a clone, a configurated body? I am so confused. Then we had Al, and he figured out how to open a portal inside that place. Apparently, Lust didn't die. Apparently, I don't know why I thought so. But he realized that he heard voices earlier, and that was why he hesitated in killing Lust. I meant Envy, sorry. And he realized that all the voices that was inside Envy was apparently the people in this town that they annihilated. And that seems like what they're going to use the town for in where they live, or like their country. Maybe they're going to use all the souls there to make a huge energy Philosopher's Stone thingy. But either way, Envy helped them escaping, and he went into that room again where, you know, he lost his leg and arm, and he's like, Al, because Al's body is in there, and he's like, come with me. And then Al says he can't come with him because he is not his soul. So I was thinking, can't you just be eaten by Gluttony again and do this again, bring Al with them, and then they can get the body back? That is what I'm thinking. But I don't know. They all chomp out of Gluttony's body, and they're out, and then they're like, where are we? And then for a moment, Al is like, oh my god, you're here. And it's like, I'm sorry I worried you. And then he turns around and is like, Hundenheim, which I guess is the father's name. But he looks so different from when they met him earlier. Who was the other dude they met? I don't even know. But yeah, there was a lot of like alchemy stuff over like how they were doing this, but honestly, I don't think I could explain it to you even if I tried. We also got a tiny bit of, was that in this chapter? Oh my god, it felt so long ago. Backstory with like King Bradley of like how he was human, and then there was just loads of people in this project that went in, and like all of them died, and then one of them eventually got resurrected, and that he was one. What was that in this chapter? Apparently it was. He explained all of this to Roy, and it just said that like they had always been controlled by this kind of person in the country. But what a wild chapter. What, like, how many things are we going to get revealed and things? Because I thought that their father was the one in the machine all along. Like, from the get-go, I thought it was their father, because that's what's typical. But then we met their father, and it was clearly not him. So I was like, okay, it's not their father. But now their father is in the machine thing, and I don't understand. But we are starting the next volume. We are starting volume 14 with chapter 54, The Fool's Struggle. Let's go. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Okay, so it's not their father. It's just someone that looks completely the same as him. And he's like, you know him? And he's like, realizes it's their sons because they have different last names. And he's just like, heals them and says that they are important and needs to be in prime condition. And they're like, oh my god, really interesting. What is going on? And then he starts attacking Lynn because he's just like, you're useless to me. I don't need you. And then obviously try to protect Lynn, and then also Envy, like, it's like a little fight, but they get owned, and then suddenly Ed can't transmute at all, and they're like, why can't we use our powers? And then it takes forward the Philosopher's Stone. I guess you could be useful. I have a free Philosopher's Stone. The position of green is open. And he's going to take it in him. And then Ed is like, no. Because usually when he does that, all the souls inside the stone fight the host. And like kills the host in the end. And then greed comes out or something. And then he's like, this is what I want. Because he wants the Philosopher's Stone. Because he wants immortality and be emperor, etc. And then he does it. Because he says that this is what he wants. And then he's like, ha ha ha. Okay, you use this hunk of flesh. Thanks, father. It's good to be back. So I don't know, it seems like Lynn lost, but maybe he will fight himself out eventually. That was very dramatic though. Very nasty, because he took out a stone from like his forehead, and it was nasty. And then for a moment, when like he used a use spell, when like they couldn't use transfiguration, alchemy, whatever, you see the father in like the mountains walking with this man and looking over, and they all like, what's going on? And he's like, nothing. And then they keep walking. So like the father's still out there. I don't know what's going on at all, but exciting stuff. Nothing goes ever as I think it will. Ever. I love it. So we have chapter 55, The Avarice of Two. So a fight breaks out. Scar and the little girl arrives. Panda and girl is united. Reunited is what you want to say. And then Lynn is a bit gone, has turned into greed, and is fighting Ed. And then Scar finds out that Envy was one who shot a child and created a whole war that killed his people, and he starts attacking And we, as well as like the main dude, father, and then he can still use his powers while Ed and Al cannot. And they're like, how can he still use his powers? He tried like this attack on father, it didn't work at all. And then they tried to run away because the girl is hurt. And then like Al is holding her, but like Scar doesn't want to escape, he wants to kill them. And then the girl got really shocked when she actually saw Ed for the first time because she thought that he was like a super handsome prince dude, and then he was just like, little Ed. I'm sorry, Ed, for calling you little. Please don't go after me. I was just joking. You're very handsome. But you're also a child, so I'm allowed to call you little because I'm ancient now. But yeah, it was like a whole fight. They tried to escape, and now he's not trying to escape. And then Lynn and Ed is fighting out, and there's a lot of fights everywhere. So it's fun and cool. Yay. So we're going to the next chapter, which is chapter 56, The Lion at the Round Table. So in this chapter, we just start with everyone being back, and I was a bit confused of how that happened, because like we didn't see them leave the sewers. I thought he was fighting Greed/Lynn, but he was not. Then we suddenly back, he's taking a shower, the little girl is inside Al's armor. They talk with Armstrong. That's not his name. Armstrong is the strong dude. King Radley. And he just like knows that they know, and they know that he know. And he's just like, you're gonna let me keep doing my plans. And tries to quit the military, which I do think is a good thing, because like the military does not seem like a good place to be. But then he threatens Windery, so he doesn't do it after all. And then like it seems like Roy's just gonna continue as well. He goes outside and meets Hawkeye, who's been waiting for him. And he's like, wow, you've been waiting this whole time. But we also do know that Hawkeye has been transferred. And then we see Lynn again, who has a message for like the one who's waiting for him. And they go over to like the house where like they also bring the little girl who has a concussion. She also almost got stabbed because Bradley did try to stab Al through the armor, but then they missed her. And then she got a message that says, I require the Philosopher's Stone. She's crying, but she's like, but where is he? So Lan and Greed is like fighting each other inside, or is she just going to merge together in a way? I'm not sure. Then we just have Ed walking around the city and like thinking about what he's gonna do, and like that he needs to maybe learn a different kind of alchemy, because Scar could use his alchemy in that circle thingy, or whatever, not circle thingy, but whatever father did. So he's thinking that he needs to learn more, and I think that basically covers it. It was confusing because I didn't really get how they escaped, maybe. And we also had father ruining gluttony and taking the stone because like he was down for, and that he's gonna make a new gluttony. That was all the way in the beginning. Now we have 57, which is Scars of Ishbal. First, we had Roy trying to decide what to do, and that he's going to stay and try to fight his people, I guess. And then we had like the bodyguard of the prince being told what happened to him, and that she is gonna try to soon as possible get like a new arm so that she can go into like the rehab and can fight again. Then she sees that the little girl is there as well, and they are obviously on different sides, and they almost start fighting, but the doctor stops them, and he has a photo of his family and then throws his away. And I was like, why would you do that? You don't care for your family. But it turned out that when he came back for the war, he was traumatized, probably with some kind of PTSD, because he tried to strangle his wife while he was sleeping. Then we have Scar in like the underground tunnel still, where he meets the doctor that was taken, remember, that created the Philosopher's Stone, and said that he was one of the reasons for his people dying, and that he wants Scar to kill him. And then before Scar kills him, because he gets very angry, he wants answers to like what they're doing and like more, basically. Then we have Ed want to return something to Hawkeye, so he goes over to her place, and we see this tattoo on her, but I don't know what it actually means. But does it not look a bit like, I don't know, something? I was going to say the room that they are in when they go into that place, but maybe not. And now we're done with volume 14, so we're going obviously into volume 15, which I hope comes out to 14, because that means that I can count. There's a little short story in the end here, but it's okay. So we're going to chapter 58, which is The Footsteps of Ruin. Let's go. In this chapter, we go into a flashback that I'm not sure I even want to see. But first of all, actually, that short story was really interesting, because we had Ed, who was really sad and upset that Al got a lot of attention from the mom. His dad told him to hold this bucket, and then he couldn't hold it for a long time. And his dad said, well, that bucket weighs just as much as your baby. Your mom carried you around for 9 months. She wouldn't have done that if she hated you. And then it looked like Ed was going to be mean to Al again. But then instead he just like stroked his head or patted his head instead. So that's the beginning maybe of them liking each other. Either way, we go to this flashback. So first we have Roy thinking when he was together with apparently Hawkeye's dad who died, who taught him alchemy. And then we had Al arriving at Hawkeye's apartment, and he told her everything that happened and how he couldn't shoot someone, blah, 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 blah. And then asked her to tell him about the Ishablans and the war. And that's where we go into a flashback. We have Scar with his brother. His brother is studying alchemy, and he's telling him that he should stop. And then we see Winter's parents being doctors and helping the people. They are being warned that they should go away, but they don't want to go away because they still have patients to help. And then we have King Bradley ordering the campaign to start. He has also imprisoned a lot of the Ishablans in the army because they are not allowed to be in the army anymore because they believe they are traitors. And they are about to go into the operation. We see Roy getting ready to go in. Are we like going to actually watch them genocide all these people? Because I don't actually want to see that. Even though, and again, you can't ignore it and just be like, I don't want to see it, and then pretend it didn't happen. But again, we already know what happened, so we don't need to see it. But yeah, it's complicated. We have chapter 59, The Immortal Alchemist. Okay, so we still are in a flashback of the world. And we had like experiments that was done by the dude who like is in prison in the future, Mr. Murdoch something. We have them fighting, the alchemist survived, where he's really cool. We have the Lotus Alchemist, but you see for a moment that was helping the Ishablans, but then he was really on their side, so maybe he's undercover. I'm a bit confused. But we haven't seen him in the future, so I'm a bit unsure. And then we have someone almost attacking the Roy and like the doctor that we also meet in the future, but then he is being shot down from far away because Hawkeye is there, and they meet again after now of a couple of years, and she talks about how her dad was like totally crazy when he studied alchemy, and then of course he remembers her. The doctors are both upset, at least one of them, that he's killing people as a doctor. Why am I killing people? And then also Hawkeye asks Roy, why is alchemy being used to kill when it's supposed to help people? So they both are questioning, well, the things they are doing at least. Then we have Scar's brother. What is this? Why do I feel like something isn't right? There's something strange about this country's alchemy. So maybe that's why Scar could make it work earlier and not at an owl, because they have studied the wrong side, but they at the same time have seen the wall things. I feel like their alchemy should be different again, but maybe not. But yeah, there's apparently something wrong with it, but I guess we will find out what, maybe. But yeah, there's war. It's sad. We don't like it, obviously. So now we are in chapter 60, In the Absence of God. This is so dramatic, but we're still in flashback. We are going through, like, they're attacking each other, blah, 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 blah. Winter is also talking with a grave after her father died right before, like, we go to more flashback that, like, he kept a secret or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, they're just killing people and they don't like it. Then one of like the leaders of the Ishablans wants to surrender, and then in exchange of his life, they would save the rest of the Ishablans. And then Bradley literally is like, no, I don't care. Let's just kill all of them. And like the people underneath him seem like, why? We know why, because Bradley's evil, but like, yeah. And then a lot of like the Ishablans are put in like a camp, kind of, or like at least behind like wiry fence. They're talking about how there are like lots of children there, and like the doctors are there trying to help them. And then they're talking about how some of the military people did give them weapons, and now they're turning their backs on that. I feel like they gave them weapons so that they would seem like they were rebelling or whatever. Not that they had even in the same country, I guess so. Yeah, because it was a civil war, so that they wouldn't have an excuse to attack them. That's what I feel like. And now the Lotus dude said that he is ready to go in again. And we have Scar's brother. He has drawn those tattoos on his arms. And then there was an explosion, a big one. But I don't actually know exactly where. But things are not going good, to say it like that. We are going to 61, The Hero of Ishbal. That was the last chapter. So we're just still in the flashback, and we just got like the last part of like that part of the war. We had a Lotus dude going all crazy with his like, I was gonna say, he had a Philosopher's Stone, and then he like ruined his buildings, and then it seemed like Scar lost his arm, and like his, well, was bleeding and dying, and his brother gave him his arm, which is why they had like the same tattoo thing. I don't think we knew this, but he wakes up and he's like, why do I have his arm, and starts screaming, and he seems super traumatized. And then he kills the doctors, as we know, Winter's parents. And then basically after that, the war is over. Roy is really sad for what he did. He still did it, but still. And he is like saying that basically from then, which is now, we know, a few years ago, he wanted to, well, get further up in the military to basically change it seems like. Or like, he's a failure, he wanted to do better, blah, 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 blah. We have the Lotus dude laughing. Wasn't he the one that died later though? One of like the alchemists that Scar killed. I'm a bit confused. Winry is sad, but then we see her like join under Roy later and like is his protector, and he also says, if I stray from the correct path, shoot me with your own hands. You have that right. And then she also asked him to like wound a tattoo on her back, which is why we couldn't read it earlier, because it was like weird, because that was like a secret her father knew. So maybe Roy is like a special alchemist, because it seemed like he learned alchemist through her father. I'm a bit unsure, but the war was over, and then it said in the end like the flashback is over, the story continues, and we also had Scar like going on his vengeance, as we know. So we kind of knew all this, but I guess we just want to traumatize us extra to show us the details. And now we are done with 3-in-1 or Omnibus Volume 5 of Full Alchemist. I have bought the rest of the series. I am reading through them soon, hopefully. I just need to be done with exams, and I'm also reading One Piece at the same time. Very enjoyable, interesting flashbacks, even though we did know the story, but this is the same when we had flashbacks. I don't know, we did know the story, but we still had the flashbacks. So obviously still enjoyable. Obviously love the characters and the story a lot, and I'm having a good time. Even though like the whole genocide thing, I feel like needs to be addressed. Like, I was going to say at least an apology, but that's like the least you could do, but we shall see how the story develops, because it doesn't seem like they support it. So I'm confused. But we shall see how it all plays out with the politics, and like, I assume that the story is not going to end with King Bradley still in power. We just need to go through all this other shit first. But yeah, it is a really fun story. We do have like one huge conspiracy plot thing compared to like many small arcs that has a bigger plot, like in other mangas maybe. It's very enjoyable. I really, really love it. So I'm excited to continue. I don't really have more thoughts right now, but it literally cannot predict anything, and I love seeing it play out. So leave maybe an alchemy emoji down below if you enjoyed this, and you should see me very soon in a new one, hopefully. And thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.